Hello, welcome to Health Styles Market. My name is Arlys and I'm the owner. We're talking about care for the chronically ill, and this segment is about movement and exercise. So Crystal will post down in the class description so that you can print this and use it to take notes on, so it's easy to keep them all together. So the part I want to talk about that maybe someone doesn't consider is about lymph, because our focus is about improving circulation to eventually heal to the point where you maybe could add some movement, and we'll be talking about ideas for that. But I want to mention lymph. So in the world of circulation, we have veins and arteries people are aware of, and we have a pump for that, which is the heart. Does a wonderful job, and we can depend on that. We count on that, and we are not thinking about it at all. We also have lymph fluid. We have lymph vessels. They kind of remind you of veins and arteries, but they're not, from head to toe. And we have lymph fluid. And here's what comes of it. There is no pump to move it like there is with the heart and the blood. So we have to find other ways to be supportive of the lymph fluid. So it develops, and we have lymph fluid because it works with the immune system. And the easiest way, this is very layman's terms, we actually have more lymph fluid in our body than we do blood, but we don't have a pump. So we need to do that ourselves with movement in the body. And lymph comes and is increased when the little immune soldiers that originate in your gut go around in the blood and they do their little job. They see a little germ that shouldn't be there, a little virus, a little bacteria, whatever. They encounter it and they encapsulate it, okay? That's part of the process. And so then the lymph, the little immune soldiers, they remove that encapsulation and they throw it into the lymph. Now, I was raised in Minnesota, and it was called a slough in Minnesota, which was like stagnant body of water. And so the little immune soldiers are throwing and dispersing these little germs into the slough. So we want to move the slough. We want to move the how do I want to say it so it makes sense? We want to move that fluid, even with its little germies, but we want to get that out of the body, okay? So one method, the most effective, is to jump on a trampoline. And part of the reason we buy those little baby trampolines, like at Walmart, and they're, maybe this big around, and you put your little exercise shoes on and you can jump on that little trampoline. Well, part of the thought behind it is because of the springs and because it has that give to it. It's not hard on your back or your joints or joint surgeries, that kind of thing. And of course, you're not out there jumping up and down like little kids in the backyard. You're the adult and you're taking it slow and easy because you're a patient with chronic illness. So jumping on a trampoline, here's the reality of it. It's fun, it's easy, you don't have to push hard, your feet do not have to leave that little springy area. You can just push down, and even that is beneficial to moving your lymph. It doesn't have to be that you jump high in the air like an outdoor trampoline. And so as you're jumping, it's moving lymph. So just know that it's moving up like this until eventually it ends up at the hypothalamus right here, which then can sometimes be a tender area for people. But the lymph is then, how would you say it, moves through there and is detoxed, and then it'll go out with the blood and the urine and the bowels of the body, which is a really good thing. So one of the little rules about jumping is that you cannot start with 5 minutes. That doesn't seem like a very long time at all. But you got to remember that what it's flushing is germs. And so we're wanting to build up the immune system. This is for a chronically ill person. And so generally, We start jumping with 2 minutes. I know. That doesn't seem like anything at all. And it really isn't necessarily. But if you were to say get on there and jump 10 minutes, you'd probably be in bed very ill for the next week. If you're still working an active career, you could be wiped out and calling in sick for a week. I'm not kidding. So most people don't want to believe that. And so, if 2 minutes is good, 5's better, and maybe 7 or 10 is even better. And you feel like pretty interestingly good after you've done that until the next day. And the next day it all just hits you like a tsunami. So listen to the rules of jumping and moving lymph. You do 2 minutes. If you feel up to it, do 2 minutes tomorrow, and 2 minutes the next day, and 2 minutes the next. And the next week, we can do and add a minute, so we can move to 3 minutes. And we do 3 minutes every single day for the week, if you are up to it, if your immune system can handle that repeated activity. And then the next week is 4, and the next week is 5. Just know that if you do some research online, you'll find that the most faithful people who are jumping as their primary exercise, when they get over 100 years old, they've probably worked up to a 20-minute session morning and night, and they just look amazing and are vibrantly healthy, and they've recovered from lots and lots of illness or issues or whatever. It's an amazing exercise. And generally, nobody really talks about it. Jumping on a trampoline, they don't really talk about it, except in the world of natural health. So give that some thought. One other thing I want to mention is that Crystal will post our exercise trackers. These are a fun little reward system. Buy some little stickers, like we have a store downtown called Teacher's Corner, and they sell mini size stickers. It's so fun. You can probably get them at Walmart. I know you can get them online, but receiving a sticker every time you do your movement is nicely motivating. It doesn't seem like it would be, but it becomes fun. And it's something you can just hang up in your bulletin board or on your wall. And every time you can record the minutes, you have an idea of how long you did and how you're working to build up your minutes with your lymph movement and your trampoline. But give yourself a sticker and pick ones you like. Lymph, the more we work with it, the more we do lymph movement, the more it improves our immune system over time. It's not an instant fix, but it is a very helpful fix. One time I had a family who lived on a ranch far from Gillette, and the mom was very, very on top of their health. And the kids, there were 3, all had allergies. And she was a homeschooling mom, and they lived on a ranch. And she said, what else can I do to keep us from the doctor's office or from having incidences that we need to go to ER or the walk-in, or like, what else can I do to build up their immune system? And I realized that this came to my mind right away. Let's talk about lymph, I said to her, and give you some ideas. And she literally bought a little mini trampoline before they left town to go home. It was miles and miles, to like 175 to 100 miles to the ranch. And then she gave me reports. And so we learned that the kids loved it. It was easy. She just set the timer, and they started building up their little jumping on the little mini trampoline. The kids loved it. And eventually mom and dad joined, and they all jumped on the trampoline every single day. They got their money's worth out of it, but even bigger, those kids did not have to go to the doctor from the whole school year. And before, they'd maybe gone, at least someone or more had gone at least once a month or more. And so it very much was a wonderful investment for them. Many, many other families have found that also, and it's been very beneficial in improving immune system and also improving circulation. So keep that in mind. Okay, thank you for joining me, and we will see you on the next segment. Thank you and goodbye.